This is The Closeup. Conversations about creativity. From our studios in Los Angeles, here is Jim Chabin.
Welcome to The Closeup. Ted Schilowitz has two jobs in Hollywood. He is the futurist at 20th Century Fox Film and the Cinevangelist at Barco. He's a founding member of the Red Camera Company. Todd Hoddick is the CEO of Barco Escape, the worldwide market leader in digital projection for movie theaters. He works with Hollywood studios, financiers, and theater owners to build the next generation of cinemas worldwide. Welcome, Ted and Todd. We're going to have probably the biggest summer in Hollywood history, the biggest year with Star Wars at the end of the year in Hollywood history, but those trend lines of ticket sales continue to look weak over the horizon. What's happening? What's competing with movies, and where are we?
Right. Well, I think every form of media is competing with movies, and they're getting more and more sophisticated and more powerful. And the in-home experience, whether that's on a large plasma display or a home projector, or the in-home experience for a younger audience, very often isn't anything even related to what we would call a television experience. It's an internet-based mobile or phone or tablet or PC laptop or Mac laptop experience. So all of these competing entertainment choices are out there. They're accessible, they're easy to get to, they're high quality, and they all sort of hit a mark of making people have enjoyment wherever they are. And what Todd and I have been working on is how do you keep the movie industry, the let's go out to the movies business, active, stimulating, exciting, and important. And that's one of the things we've been working on.
So let's talk about Escape. How did it come to be? What is it? Where is it? And just tell us about it.
Escape started with conversations with the exhibitors. It's very close to the conversation you and Ted were just having. And what it comes down to fundamentally is, what can we deliver? What experience can we provide that is so compelling that people have to get off the couch, put down the iPad, and go to the cinema? Does the cinema stay what it always has been? I don't think so. Does it become an entertainment center? I think that's more of what we're looking at, but that all starts in the ways that we know it's always been. It starts with the storytelling. A lot of digital cinema, when we talk to the exhibitors, they say, hey, we love it, the product is reliable, the image is beautiful, but I think we've lost a little bit of the showmanship, a little bit of that magic that we all grew up with. And we need to create that magic for the millennials, for the next generation. Do something so compelling that they need to leave their home, get to the cinema, and enjoy that experience. That's where Barco Escape began.
We've got some pictures of the Escape system. Tell us about Maze Runner, which is the first movie you did, and what the audience and the exhibitors' reaction was to it.
First of all, a big thank you to 20th Century Fox. It takes a lot of courage to try these new things, to innovate, to disrupt. And we don't always get it right. And the fact that Chris Aronson and Ted Galliano and the team at Fox were willing to do this with us on the first Maze Runner was a big deal, because we didn't know. Were we drinking our own Kool-Aid? What would that audience reaction be? So with Cinemark, 5 locations in the United States, with Kinepolis in Europe, in Belgium, we put 7 screens out there together with 20th Century Fox, and the audience reaction was absolutely better than anything we could have expected. The performance, the ticket sales were there. It drove and helped as a little bit of a catalyst towards a great result for Maze Runner, and the audience feedback was fantastic. They said they would like to see more movies in this format. They said that they would come more often. It's funny, when you look at the polling, the audience doesn't always understand why they loved it, but the popcorn tastes better, the seats are more comfortable, the ticket pricing was more acceptable because they had a great experience. For Barco, that's one of the big challenges. We're known for technology, laser projectors, those kinds of things. And a big part of the work that Ted and I are doing internally and around the culture at Barco is technology for the sake of technology is not so interesting. Technology, when it enhances the storytelling, when it drives a compelling experience, then you've got something. Then you've got something special.
So the next Maze Runner, out this fall.
Yeah.
How much of the material will be in Escape at this particular point?
Well, before we even get to that, I want to reflect on a story that you told at the award ceremony you had last year when you called your friend up on a Saturday or Sunday morning and you said, we're going to go cross town. I guess you both live on this side of town near Burbank.
Right.
This was the first Maze Runner.
Yeah, the first
Right.
Maze Runner. I'm
And it was
reflecting
the opening,
back.
and it was the opening day of
Yes.
the Escape
In
Theater.
Barco
You
Escape.
said,
that's
we're going to
right.
go do something fun. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but there's something going on. There's some guys actually taking some risks in the movie business. We're going to go try it. So why don't you tell me or tell Todd and I what that experience was like, and then I'll tell you about the second
I saw it
Maze
at
Runner.
Howard Hughes Parkway. It was the very first day. It was the very first showing, and I took a reporter from Variety with me and did not tell him what it was going to be. We watched it. It was fantastic. And at the end, I asked people walking out of the theater, what did you think? And they said, I want more of the movie. I want more of the movie to
That
be
was the
on
number
more of the
one
screens,
feedback.
but it's going to be great.
For the next Maze Runner, there's a very specialized VFX team that's working right now on creating at least 20 minutes of the movie in the immersive format, the Escape format.
And just so everybody knows, the first one we only got about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
We had done it so late in the game, but we wanted that audience reaction. We wanted to find out what the response was. So the first one we only got 7 or 10 minutes.
I would have told you it was a lot more than 7
Yeah. It
minutes.
seems like it's more
made
because
that
when you're in
big
it, you're
impression.
in it.
But that was the number one feedback. People wanted more. So Ted and the VFX team, sorry, keep going.
I'm going to hold off on giving you the actual minute count until we're done. But if I say at least 20 minutes and I wink and nod and say at least 20 minutes, you could probably connect the dots and go, they're really working on something now. This is no longer an experiment. This is a commercially viable, deliverable product that people are going to come to this and walk away, hopefully, going, wow, I can't wait to see that again, tell my friends about it, and see what's coming next from Fox or from any of the other movie studios.
I
that
just
are
recently saw
involved.
the Amy Winehouse documentary. It's a fantastic musical movie. I mean, the musical entertainment in it is fantastic. Tragic story.
What a story, yeah.
But it is, as a motion picture, as a movie concert, it is fantastic. You shot Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett in concert in Brussels.
Pure
in
coincidence,
Escape. Okay,
yes.
so talk about how a concert looks in this format.
Lady Gaga had been working with some folks that we know well in Amsterdam, a group called Carino. And they were working on what was happening for her concerts. And she wanted the story to be all around you. She wanted this sort of a Barco Escape experience. And the folks that were doing her concerts said, you've lost your mind. You can never afford that. And so the folks at Carino said to her, but we can do this. We can do this in cinema. It just so happens, has nothing to do with the fact that Barco is a Belgian company, but it just so happens Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett were going to be at the Grand Place in Belgium. So we had an opportunity to spend the evening with them, capture the audio in an immersive audio format, Barco's Oro 11.1 format, and capture the video in a Barco Escape format. Now, she has done very, very well recently. I don't know if you saw her on the Academy Awards and some of the things. Her popularity has gone through the roof. What we've agreed with Interscope is we will release this fall, a little bit after Maze Runner, we will release that concert footage, that documentary that's been put together and produced with Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett in the Barco Escape format. Again, when we talk about creating compelling experiences, yes, it's definitely going to be movies. But is it also going to be concerts? Is it also going to be gaming? Is it also going to be these other forms of new content? This Lady Gaga opportunity will give us a chance to listen to the audience again and try that when this concert's all around you, both visually and audibly.
Ted, you have worked through Red in this position with studio execs, but a great many directors and cinematographers. And I want to ask you, what do the great creative directors all have in common? What is that? What is that?
It's a
When
big
you
question.
observe it, when you say, wow, they've got it, what is it?
I'd say they have very little in common, but I say that they probably have, they all have their own unique spirit and their own unique, very, very strong will and strong vision to accomplish something. So maybe that is commonality. But it's very different. I mean, each of them have a different way of telling their stories and achieving their goals. But at least the ones that I've worked with closely on, are drivers. They are not backseat people. They are in the driver's seat and they are driving this boat forward, and they are going to accomplish what they want to accomplish come hell or high water. That's what I see.
Talking to one of Ong Lee's team members who's working on his movie down in Atlanta right now, saying we're shooting at 120
which
frames
is an amazing
a second
technical
in 3D.
thing they're doing. Yeah.
So high frame rate in 3D. What a risk taker! What a bold sense of trying the possible, which I think is core to the success of the ongoing health of the movie industry. If you look at laser projection, high frame rate, high dynamic range, maybe even 3D sound, although that's kind of a part of the mix now, which one of those new technologies excites you guys?
Well, they all excite us. Anything that can make the movie-going experience more compelling and more interesting and more dynamic is a big deal. For me, laser projection excites me tremendously because getting a bright image up on that screen and on a really, really big screen, in my opinion, movies are meant to be seen really, really big. Not just sort of big, but really big. Like, when you go to the Mann's Chinese and you see that giant IMAX, which is dual Barco laser in action, that's unbelievable. It's almost a 100-foot screen, right?
I saw the Star Wars trailer.
It's unbelievable, right?
With a Barco laser projector in 3D with the sound. And my memory is that the lightsabers came off the screen. They glowed off the screen in 3D. It was so powerful. And undoubtedly that movie has got everybody excited for later this year. Are we going to see laser projectors rolled out? I mean, is that the new? That is the new standard.
Yeah.
It's absolutely happening. It's happening around the world right now. And again, all these technologies, and we'll talk more about laser here in a second if you'd like, but all of these technologies need to drive to two things for us. They need to drive to a more compelling audience experience, and they need to drive profitability in the industry, right? If we can put butts in seats, if we can drive premium pricing, those are the things that keep everything moving. Laser for us is absolutely core to what we do at Barco. We're very proud of the things that we've accomplished. We're proud of the relationship that we have together with IMAX, and we'll deliver laser for everybody within cinema. A lot of what you're seeing right now is sitting on the premium PLF, IMAX type locations, but you'll see laser penetrating the entire market within the next couple of years. The only barrier to laser right now is we haven't achieved scale. The technology's there, the image quality's there, the reaction you had is the reaction we're getting. The pricing needs to get competitive to Xenon, and at Barco, we're within 12 months of making that happen. You'll see laser absolutely penetrate the market very deeply.
I know that Barco is dominant in China. Something like better than 50% market share.
60 to 65% market share right now.
The China movie market's going to overtake the U.S. movie market sometime this year. What's fascinating to me to be overseas on any Saturday afternoon in a movie theater is to see families lining up for American movies. What's the future of Hollywood in all of this?
Yeah, well, that's what Todd and I are working on. I mean, we think the future of Hollywood is to keep enhancing that movie-going experience, which is what is at the core of Barco Escape. I mentioned I really like things to be big when I go to the movies. Well, it doesn't get any bigger than when you start with a really big screen on the front, and then at appropriate times in the movie, the entire theater lights up, and big goes from big to really big, and it's all around you. And that's something you can't get at home, and that's something that when you walked out of Maze Runner the first time, and when we see audiences coming out of these experiences, and as we show clips to the movies to directors that are learning about the format and wanting to experiment, there's a wow factor, and that's what's important. Similar as your lightsaber story. You want to be wowed when you go to the movies. The story needs to be captivating, and then the visuals need to be that much captivation to lock everything together. That's what we're working on, and that's what China is totally falling in love with as well.
So if Hollywood continues to take these risks and implements these new technologies, and I think the word you're using is transport, to take audiences to a magical place, the future's pretty bright.
Yeah.
It is. We think it's very, very bright. And again, when you talk about the directors and you talk about Hollywood and you look at what we're doing, I would say the one thing that we all have in common, not just the directors that are forward-thinking and innovative, is it takes a lot of courage. This is hard. It's hard to take these risks. We won't get them all right. But if you stay true to the core of what we know and understand, a great story in a wonderful, clean environment, giving people an opportunity to escape from the worries of the world, the bill collectors, whatever's going on in their life, then you've done something special. Whether it's a laser projector or immersive audio or Barco Escape, it's still about transporting people into the romance, the adventure, the fantasy that they want to come for.
I would encourage the audience to find an escape theater and see it. If they want to find it and find out a local location, where do they look?
The Barco Escape theaters will have 20 to 25 open for Maze Runner. They're all over the world, very, very strong in the LA area, but what we'll do is we'll provide a website address for your folks to go to so that we can have that in your
mid-September is
information.
when it comes
I
out.
feel better about the future if you guys are in it. Thank you both
We
for being
appreciate it.
Our pleasure, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
The Closeup is produced by the Advanced Imaging Society in Hollywood and powered by Barco.